Safety first.
Oh no! No! Oh no! Oh no! Oh Jesus!
Okay, welcome back to the channel, where I'm going to break down the process as I see it for stumping, low cutting a tree all the way down to the ground that's very large. All right, now this is not a very large tree, mind you. What you're about to see is my 6-foot bar on my 3120. And before all of you dummies out there go, you could have used this bar half that size. Listen to me, I have my reasons, okay? They may not line up with what you want, and I really don't give a fuck. Got me? I really don't care. So before you're like, that's too big of a bar, that's overkill, you don't know what you're doing. Shut up, okay? The reason to use a big bar like this is, one, it's twofold, okay? Some trees are big. The tree that I just cut with Andreas, it's in my 592, takes on a massive oak, right? On the stem, right, the trunk of that tree, my 36-inch bar could barely fit all the way across it. So at the trunk, you would not have been able to cut that, even coming from both sides or going all the way around the tree. You would have had a big chunk in the middle, nasty. What you have had to do is spend time cutting like this. And you would have to cut off massive portions of the tree, going down like this vertically and cutting them off. And that takes time. So you can get to it, you can whittle it away, right? But this is going to be quicker, going to be a much prettier job. And that brings me to the second reason for such a big bar. If this right here was not rotten in the middle, then I would have the option. I mean, I still technically have the option, but I'm not going to. I would have the option of cutting cookies off of this about 4 inches thick all the way down to the bottom there. That may not mean anything to you tree service guys, because I know what you do. You don't save any of the tree. At best, you make firewood out of it, okay? But some of you maybe, okay, I don't want to discount anybody, but for the most part, you load that shit up in a grapple truck. The grapple truck takes it to the dump and dumps it. There is thousands and thousands of dollars being dumped in landfills because y'all don't know what to do with it. Or you don't have the time to do it. Okay, and I understand that. I really do. I really do. I'm not talking bad about you if you take your stuff to the dump. It is what it is. Big tree got to come down. You got to do something with it. And you got to do it, you got to move fast, you got to have it down in one day and out of there. I get it. But for every cookie that I would want to take out of this, I can make a tabletop and sell it, depending on how good I am as a woodworker, also depending on my area. I'm in Atlanta, which is a major metropolitan city. I'm going to get more than somebody in Tupelo, Mississippi. You know what I mean? I'm going to get more than you are, all right? But I'm not going to get nearly as much as if I was trying to sell it in Beverly Hills or New York City. So anyways, there is money in these stumps. There's not just money to cut them out and then take them to the landfill and dump them. These, if you cut those cookies right, even this, it's rotted out in the middle. Some of these side stems, or whatever you want to call them, are rotted. This is not a good example, but you can make money. So anyways, let's get on with it. This is the CS800, and we are going to use it to get started. This thing's very cold-natured, Andre. That's why I tried to. There we go. All right. Now I got my line established. I'm as level as I can make it. Okay, nothing's gonna be perfect in this game, but I'm as level as I can make it. I have the height the way that I want it. I looked all the way around. I'm hitting dirt over here if I go any lower than that, that kind of thing. And now, oh, dang. All right, so this has been rebuilt with a highway cylinder. Well, I rebuilt it a long time ago and I didn't machine the base, didn't have the ability to, so the squish is pretty high. Because of that, there is no starting it with the decompression pushed in. What you do is, or otherwise you'll flood it out. I got it turned on, got the choke out, decompression is pushed in. I'm going to pull it 2 times. Oh, sorry. Pull the decompression out, choke still on. Let's lock that brake. There we go. All right, now it won't always work like this because a saw like this, you only use it once every 6 months or something. I don't know, maybe sooner than that. But it'll sit and you'll have to pull 10 or 15 times to get all the fuel going. But we'll let this warm up. All right, so this is a big saw with a big bar on it. Safety first. All right. This right here is what makes this saw so good at stuff like this. That's a big old long bar, all right? This right here is your, I don't know what to call it, massive oiler. Basically, see it right there, it's a chain drive link cutter, and it's got an oil drop. So this is for your oiler. So what you do is whenever you're doing something like this, pulling a long bar, or you're milling with it, while it's running, don't try and do this with it turned off. But while it's running, you push in, and then turn it, and you'll feel it kind of engage. And then you let go, and it'll stay down. It goes down this way, but you got to push in and then turn it. And what this does is it gives you full flow oil. And I just realized I didn't check the oil in this thing, so I'm going to have to check the oil, make sure we're good. Okay, I just checked the oil. We got about half a tank. I think we can make it through. We're only doing this one cut, so here we go. Let's get to it. That was So easy, guys. That was so easy to do. It cut through it. Now we'll measure it at its widest point here in shortly. But nearly all of that cutting, I was a little bit scared of that chain jumping the rails. I'm not stupid. I understand these things. You may think that I'm stupid because I didn't put on full chaps, a helmet, a face guard, all that stuff. But guys, I weigh my risks. I do. Someday something could get me. It might happen. But in a serious situation like this, like I was saying, I was only giving it, honestly, like nearly all of the cut. I was doing like quarter throttle. Maybe a third, and maybe even a half. But yeah, I almost never fully engaged that trigger. This thing is awesome. But for a guy like me, no. Andre is going to take this, and to even pull it out of his truck, he's going to charge 150 bucks. Now, he'll be able to do that a lot. Look how easy that was for this saw. The bar is actually capable of cutting a much bigger tree than this. Especially whenever you look at it and you go, well, I can hit it from both sides. All right. But some of these big trees, like the one that he took down that I helped him on with my 592, that right there, this bar probably would have saved them 2 hours worth of work. That's just a guess, because I know that they were cutting that tree up with a 36-inch bar. And I know that that 36-inch bar couldn't go from side to side, which means they had to whittle away at that huge tree. It was massive, massive. They had to spend however much time, however much fuel, and whittle it away. You no more whittling with this. Is whack it off. What was I? I mean, I went slow. Was I 2 minutes in the cut? I had to talk you guys through it all. Imagine if you were one man, you showed up to cut down one stump, right? You could set up, whack it off in 15 minutes. Boom, you just put $150, $200 in your pocket, you know? So all you tree service guys that go, you don't need a bar that big. Well, you're right, you don't need it. You don't need it. I don't need air conditioning, but I like it. That was so easy for this chainsaw. My gosh. I'm all that is man. That was really hard to do. All right, so let me show you. All right. Okay, so the widest point here, right there, is straight up, exactly right on it. You can probably see it, 48 inches, all right? So at first glance you go, oh, well, a 48-inch bar would have been fine. Well, in this particular case, it may have, because if you go like this, right here, we're at 45, 46, right? 45 inches. And, you know, maybe a 48-inch bar is long enough to reach from here to here. Maybe it is, but I doubt it because of the dogs, and nothing is ever actually a straight up 48 inches. They're not actually 48 inches. You get a 48-inch bar and you think it's 48? No, turns out it's 46 inches, and then you got the dogs on top of that. So anyways, you probably could have came in this direction, right? With a 48-inch bar, you could have came in this direction and maybe, let me get it at 48. There we go. Been like, and then when it gets to this wide spot, be like, and get through it, right? But you probably would have had to walk it like that. But you might have been able to go straight through. You might have been able to start right here. No, you couldn't have. You would have had to start like this and, you know, get in like this and then go, whang, whoop, whoop, come on. That's how you do it with a 48-inch bar. If you started here, well, it just, like, boom. Well, yeah, you could have made that work. But you get the point. And I hope that this video has entertained you. And I hope it's given you ideas of, well, maybe you should get a saw that's, the whole reason you have it is for cutting stumps. If this was a good tree, hell, even if I wanted to go through the work and get all this rot out, you know, there's good wood in places, and then you fill it in with epoxy, and that stuff can look really cool. It can look really, really, really cool. But I wouldn't do it on this. This tree's too far gone. There's ants all in it. But if this was nice wood, one of these cookies, just one of them, would bring you, you know, I mean, at least $200, you know, if you could sell it. But that's the thing with stuff like this. You have to be able to actually sell it. But then if you made a table out of it, hell, that table, you know, $1,500, $3,000. But that's a lot of work. Woodworking is really intensive. It's a lot of work. But the whole reason that you want one full swipe like that is so that you don't have a screwed up cookie with uneven edges and stuff, and then you have to go in and you have to spend all kinds of time on the router. This right here can be done, if this was good, it can be fixed up with just a hand planer. I have a Titan, like 7-inch electric planer that you can use by hand. But whenever it's got like really bad cuts, I'll show you. You just can't. You can't repair that with a planer. You have to set up a router table. Are you guys enjoying your day? I'm enjoying mine. I got to use a 6-foot bar on a 120cc saw. It's going pretty good. I love it. Okay, see? Prime example of a bar that's too short to reach all the way across. You get stuff like that. And yeah, you can take care of that. You know, you also get a whole bunch of that stuff. Yes, you can take care of that. But the point of that long bar is you go in there, whack. You whack off that stump, and then what you're left with is a lovely stump there for your customer. It's not all jagged edges and stuff. Looks good. And then it's also, if you want, so it's easier too, it's easier. And if you want to actually do something with those big cookies, I mean, those cookies back there, if that table was better, would have made a nice little breakfast nook table. God, lovely. You know, so anyways, Andre, and I think your partner is Ross. Am I getting that right? Your chainsaws are ready, buddy. Chain brake works. You're all set up and you're ready to go. So come give me some money.